Well, I got time for another one. Just looking down the beach here. Basically, there's a medium-sized grizzly bear was right on the trail the camera's on half an hour ago. It's in the bushes behind me somewhere. Probably took off. Actually, for sure it took off. But when you know there's a grizzly bear not far from you, obviously I keep the gun nearby just in case that 1 in a million happens, which obviously happens to me. Has happened to me fairly often in the past. Kind of sucks. But anyway, here's a email into us that I'm going to share. Are you ready? Well, listen to this. Hey Steve, Jeff here from the heart of the Great Lakes. I have my fair share of hard to explain experiences, but today I found myself trying to convince myself that I didn't see what I know I saw. What else can I say? I've been suspicious due to all the odd things in this property over the last 6 years or so. I've been watching and listening to your stories, trying to understand what the hell's going on. I've heard reports of loud screams and something pounding on the ground that shook the house. Trees broken and knocked over where they shouldn't be. Smells, tree knocks, etc. I think I've known for the last 3 years, but I hadn't seen it with my own eye. The property is smallish, 30 acres of land, half swamp with a creek in the middle of it. I hunt it. We ride quads year-round. There are a few close neighbors. It's not far from a couple dozen houses. Oh, before I forget, I grew up hunting and fishing. This morning I saw the belly side of a medium-sized bird flying overhead, and I told my wife, look at the pileated woodpecker, which I knew it was based on wing beat pattern bottom of the wing feathers. I've snowshoed for miles in the capital of BFE, following wolf and moose tracks. I've been out in it. I don't miss, I see shit. There are my outdoor credentials. It was hot out today, so a dip in the... That's a loon. There's a pair of them over there. It was hot out today, so a dip in the pool sounded pretty nice. I had my 2 youngest sons with me, 11 and 6. When we borrowed my out-of-town buddy's pool for a bit, he said it was cool, so tell all the snowflakes to relax. Knowing the land like I do, I know there is one spot that you can stand and see the pool from more than 100 yards out. So yeah, Midwest, lots of trees. We were having fun splashing and had been there for a while, and then the thought came across my mind of, if something is there, then it's there by now. It was about 4:15 p.m. now, July 18th, 2020, so I decided to jump in, stay in, and slowly take a peek. Bingo! 200 yards out, standing in the creek. For your information, the creek is a good 5 feet deep from the bed to the top of the bank, where it was dark black. Right where I thought it would be was a large black object. I did look when we had first gotten there, and there wasn't anything black in that area, just green weeds. It took about a half a second before I realized I was looking at it. Then it moved. 200 yards out, my naked eyes saw little detail, but that motion was a dead giveaway. That was also when I could see the size and the speed. F me. It quickly, and I mean quickly, ducked behind some thicker weeds for cover on the bank to its left. I could still see some black through the weeds, but if not for the movement that I saw, I probably wouldn't have noticed anything at this point, and I would have just chalked it up to shadows. Less than a minute later, I looked again, and the big black object was again in the narrow gap between the tree and the weeds, and was again black and not green. I saw it again, and it obviously saw me looking at it again, and it made the same motion to hide behind the cover to its left. That doesn't happen if it's a bear, no effing way. Both my boys asked what I was looking at this time, because by now they can tell my head is locked on something. I thought I saw a deer, I told them. We didn't stay much longer, and I didn't even mention putting a towel down in their seats as we left. Was it a black bear? Hell no. They aren't normally in this area. Every once in a great while, sure. In the spring when the fawns are plentiful, maybe. But this motion was not of a bear nosing around from 200 yards out. It saw me looking at it from just barely having my eyes above the edge of the pool. It was intelligent and quick to react. It was watching and then hiding. It did it twice, exactly the same way. That was not the breeze blowing a branch either. In my mind, I tried to tell it that I saw it. I was focused, took my time, and clearly thought, I saw you, effer. No crazy lights orbs, no extra large bare human-like footprints, no feeling of being watched this time. I felt that before. I just noticed that I have not specifically said what I saw. It was a Sasquatch, no doubt. I just can't believe it. I haven't told anyone else yet. Not sure if I'll be able to. So now I know how to bait and hook. So now I know how to bait the hook and where to fish. What would you do? I like fishing. I appreciate all your work, your facts, the forum, the education. Thank you for sharing all these stories from the others, and thank you for all the others who have shared. If we listen and pay attention to details, then you don't have to be overwhelmingly shocked into reality, as so many obviously have been. Those who hide this from people, what a bunch of dicks. I never felt threatened or afraid today. I wasn't panicked at all. I was a little relieved, and now it makes sense. I'm still not looking forward to heading out back anytime soon, if ever again. Lots to think about. Any questions, let me know. Jeff. All right. Thanks for that email, Jeff. And I did get your second email where you spoke of thumping this thing with a headshot and dumping it with your motivation to prove it and put an end to all the horse shit that comes with this topic. And I don't know. For me personally, people always ask me if I'd shoot one of these beings, and for me, I wouldn't myself personally, not a chance. Mainly because, I'm a firm believer in the retribution would probably be too much to handle. I firmly believe if I was deep in the timber where I normally am, or middle of nowhere like I am right now, if I shot one of these things unprovoked, I have a feeling I'd probably pay for it fairly shortly soon afterwards. Who knows? Coincidentally, I just had an email from a very lovely lady recently who emailed me some excerpts from Bobby Short's studies, and there's been more than a few of these things have been shot in the past and killed. I could possibly relay those sometime later on in the next couple months when I get home. But it's up to you, Jeff. I'm not going to tell. Nobody can tell you what to do. Nobody can tell me what to do ever, so I never tell anybody else what to do. But when you think about who do you need to prove? Who do you need to prove this to? You know, the majority of the people who are trying to suppress this topic, they know they're very real, and they don't want us to know. I mean, if the main population knew that they were actually real, then the main population would also know that we've been lied to from the beginning, right? And then the dirty pricks who have been controlling us start to lose control pretty rapidly. Hopefully they're going to lose it pretty rapidly anyway. But you got to think about your family and your home and what you are possibly about to crack open if you do shoot one of these things. It might not end well for you. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. I'm betting it won't. I don't know. I wouldn't shoot one. And then there's different angles you can come at it to think about it. You know, be like, I'm going to shoot one to prove it. Well, how would you feel if one of these things grabbed your kid by the neck, popped his head off, and drug it all back to prove it to his family? And your kid was just playing in the pool or playing out back, and one of these things grabbed him and killed him, right? Or even you or your wife or whoever. So that's something to think about as well. Think about what it's going to be like on the receiving end of that, because there is currently way more than enough proof. The proof's been in a long time. There's shit piles of proof, and it's not making a difference to the people who are able to share that proof with the world. That's why we're doing what we're doing, right? So, I don't know, man. I would advise you not to kill one of these beings. The evidence is strongly pointing towards these beings being a type of people. They're a people. They're not an animal. They're not a crazy monkey running around. They are a people. So they're very intelligent. And obviously you saw the intelligence in that thing, right? And you know that this thing could have any one of your asses anytime it decided to, right? And it hasn't. So you might want to think about that as well. But it's a crazy topic, man. It's some crazy choices. I definitely look into it. You know, and think about what's going on today, about getting back to who to prove it to. Just turn on news. Take a look at Seattle or Portland as rough, easy examples. Are those people that you need this proof to? Do you know what I mean? You got to think about what's going on in the mainstream these days, and what's going on in our populations in our inner cities and shit. You know, the majority of the people alive today aren't even rural, so they don't even have the time and the energy it takes to take on this topic and look into it themselves on average. And they're so preoccupied with just trying to survive and fighting amongst themselves. unfortunately. But that's the way I look at it now. Is I actually take a look at all the people out there, take a look at what the majority of the population's focusing on, and then ask yourself, what in the hell would I need to even get the attention of those people for, let alone prove anything to that group of people? It doesn't make sense. But what does make sense is educating your children, your family, your neighbors who live where these beings frequent. It's our responsibility to share the knowledge that we have with those people and give them the fair crack at knowing what's going on in their backyard. That's what I'm getting at. You know, I mean, let's face it, if you live the majority of your life within 20 yards of any yellow line in any pavement, or if you live the majority of your life within 20 yards of any elevator or concrete sidewalk, or you follow all those loopy and if you follow all those loopy celebrities, and your life is made up of going to work and watching sitcoms when you get home, which is sadly many of us, being presented this topic just isn't going to do anything for them. It's not going to help them anyway. But anyway, I think if you asked me in the next email after this one, what would I do? What do I think? I wouldn't risk it, man. I would not risk killing one of these beings unprovoked, just for the security of your family and your kids and yourself. I wouldn't do it. Not me. But who am I, right?